Hi. So this is a talk entitled Jesus and the Devil Are Not Different, which is sure to delight Christians everywhere. So the first thing that needs to be understood is that as God, in God, nothing is different. There is nothing separate. That every particle of creation is included. So that's kind of a fundamental perspective on this issue. And then there's the more specific issue, which is that the line of David, which was a human lineage that was set apart by God. The line of David is the line of Lucifer. So let me explain this, because a lot of people are going to say, what are you talking about? You're just being crazy. But I'm not just being crazy. So David was the heart of God in human form, right? And when God said, David is my heart, David is like my heart, what God meant was that the heart was this realm of conflicted, wild feeling. The heart loves everything. Everything. It loves the kind man, it loves the cruel one, it loves those who are good for it, it loves those who are bad for it, as many of us know from our relationships. The heart is wild, and in human form, that was the line of David, which Jesus identified with. Jesus said, I am of the line of David. I'm of that root, of that ray of God. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means. But the thing is, in non-human form, the heart of God is Lucifer, brightest of God's angels who rebelled against God, right? The most passionate, the most lively of the angels was the heart of God. That was the part of God that was represented as the most wild and full of life. And so on the unseen level, that was represented, on the angelic, that was Lucifer, who then fell to earth, right? Who chose the material, who chose to advocate earthly things above the heavens. And then you have, there are some steps in between that and David. There's the serpent, right? The serpent, gosh, this is a bigger talk than I imagined giving. Let me just take a breath, because there's so much to say, and so much of it is controversial. And I want to make sure I'm going for the heart of it and not getting lost on side paths. Right. So I titled this talk, Jesus and the Devil Are Not Different. So here's what I mean by that. So Jesus was from the house of David, from the lineage of David, which is the lineage of the heart. And this is why in the Garden of Gethsemane, I really tried to say that correctly. I hope I did. Where's the camera on this? Okay. Right, so that's why in the garden he encounters the devil. He encounters the devil, which is the shadow of God, the darkness of God, and in a way it's the materiality of God. So when the brightest angel falls from heaven and descends to earth, it's the light choosing to be enrobed in darkness. It's appearing as its opposite. So what is pure heaven and pure light comes and becomes a symbol for pure earth and pure materiality. And Jesus, being of that lineage, encounters this part of himself, this part of God that is dark. And Jesus' response to it is one response. When he's on his fast and he denies it and he says, I will not be controlled by the darkness. That is a response of the light to the darkness. It's not the only response, because what most people don't understand is that Jesus and David, that's a lineage. The heart is a lineage that goes back to the start, into the future. And along that lineage, there are many humans born. Many humans are born aligned with that lineage, the path of David, the path of the heart. And the heart at different times has different responses to dark and light, right? So when Jesus, right before before he dies, when he's on the cross and he says, "Oh God, why hast thou forsaken me?" That's pretty different from his moments of conviction and faith in the light. That's a moment where his response is despair. And the heart is afforded those different responses. The heart is allowed to respond differently in different moments and be wild. So let me wrap this up, since unnecessary words are sinful. Let's say that. This is important because so many boys and girls are brought up in a tradition to think that Jesus and Satan are fighting each other, and you have to be a part of this epic war and pick your side. It's exhausting. This war between light and dark has been going on for millennia. It's depicted in all of our entertainment, and it is exhausting. It is also not what God desires as the final reconciliation. So again, remember what I said at the very beginning of this video. God is everything. God, the spirit that unites us, encompasses everything, and it has to. It created everything. It's bigger than everything. It's the gestalt, the sum of the parts of everything. So it created darkness and it created light. It says so, right, in the Bible. You don't have to believe me. That's right. God created the heavens and the earth, supposedly in the origin of creation. So in the end, when everything comes together and kind of reforms God, when God becomes conscious and visible, it reveals itself as everything, not just the good, not just the holy, not just the I strived to be perfect and have my body have a six-pack. It's everything, the ugly, the soft, the slimy, the cowardly. It's wild. The heart of God is like, a heart of palm or a heart of celery. It's the essence of that thing. It contains a bit of everything. And if you remember that you are from that you contain a bit of everything, then the question is not how to deny the parts of you that you hate, but it's how to integrate them all in a loving way, how to accept that you are everything, and that your power comes from everything, not just the things you like. Jesus and the devil are not different. They are parts of the same thing. They are parts of God who speak to each other in this garden. And that's just one conversation. 2,000 years later, we can have an even more evolved conversation. Jesus said, "You shall do what I do and greater things," which means we don't have to keep repeating the conversation he had. We can have a new conversation. So, hallelujah, yeah? Okay, bye.